Let's first go back and into last season. Obviously, real high of finally having that home playoff game. We had a good crowd, nice win. Go to the tournament, get knocked out by Augustana, who's obviously ended up, right there at the end of the year. What did you kind of leave the team with in terms of just a closing thought on last season? What'd you tell the guys?
I left them with several things to think about. Number one, they should be proud of the direction that we were heading. If you remember, we got off to a pretty rough start. Started out 3-0, and then I think we lost 5 or 6 straight. And to pull ourselves out of that kind of slump and finish with a winning season, home playoff game, all those superlatives that were a step in the right direction is something they should be proud of. The second thing that we discussed quite a bit was with 6 seniors coming back and making a sacrifice to get to where we were, and then to go beyond that is each step you take is a little bit more of a challenge. And in order to get to where all of us believe we want to go, they had to make a sacrifice. So a lot of them stayed up here this summer. A lot of them put in some extra work, put some maybe personal things behind to get a team-oriented goal. And I thought they did a really good job of that this summer. So it's put us in a position to hopefully have a good year this year.
Speaking of that senior class, obviously a bigger class. The last couple of years, you've just had 2 guys or so graduating. When you look at this senior class, particular Pierre Newton chose player to watch as your returning leading scorer. What stands out to you about this class as leaders and what they can do on the court?
Well, it's a unique class in that we have some high school kids, we have some junior college kids, we have some transfers, quite a few guys from Arizona. It's a group that's kind of come together. 2 of them are medical redshirt guys that came back for another year, and Harder and Christopher Jackson. So it's been a group that wasn't designed to have 6 of them, but as things kind of happened, it all kind of came together. They're older. Junior Coleman's a redshirt. Pierre Newton had to sit out a year with a transfer. Brendan's been to a couple schools, so I think they're older. They're more experienced. They understand the rigors of an entire season and what that entails. And I think they're really excited and really ready to go, have a good year. And there's a couple things you can't teach. You can't teach height, and you can't teach experience. We're not very tall, but I do believe we're pretty experienced. So those are some positive things that you can have.
When you look at the rest of the returners, obviously you just got 1 junior, Charles Vincent, and you got a few sophomores that are going to be coming back, particularly Lane Olson and Jake Wilson, who come back from having redshirted in their second go around with the team. What are you looking at from those 4 that are kind of in your sophomore class?
Well, that group of sophomores/juniors is kind of confusing because obviously Wilson and Lane redshirted. Chuck played last year because we needed some depth in the post. I'm looking for those guys. As sophomores, you kind of think they're their second year, but really this is their 3rd year in the program, and they should have the experience of an upperclassman. And I've seen that in practice, and I'm really excited to see it come out in a game format. I think it will. Not to look a year ahead already, but I think it will put us in position the following year to where when you lose 6 seniors, you start thinking about, boy, the program's going to have to restart over, and certainly losing all those guys will be a detriment. But we do have some kids coming in behind that have significant experience and have been able to redshirt and do some things. So it's a direction we wanted to go in the program, to continue to have depth, continue to have some strength at those positions. And then it should give us the amount of players to really go deep into our lineup this year, which is something that, unfortunately, we just didn't have last year.
Excuse me. When you look at your 4 newcomers, your freshmen coming in, of those guys, do you see any of them making an immediate impact with this team, or is it going to be kind of there's so much veteran experience on the team that maybe they don't see as much time this year?
With 6 seniors, it's going to be tough to make an immediate impact. However, the things that change between now and sometime in January and February, as freshmen continue to figure out how to play the college game and how to live the college lifestyle, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple of them broke in to earn some significant playing time. All four of them have done a really good job of adapting to the system and getting used to the speed and the physicality of the game, and I totally expect them to continue to keep on improving at a great pace and be great players for our program. How much that equates to minutes and production this year, that's still pretty much up in the air, but from what I've seen of the freshmen so far, they all have bright futures.
Kind of dive into the schedule here. Obviously, you got a tough non-conference slate. As you got starting out through your first 4 games, I think, against teams that are up, not quite in the top 25, but among those teams receiving votes just outside the top 25. You got Green Bay, who's always a tough challenge. That's an exhibition for you guys. And you got starting the year with 8 of 12 on the road. Just looking at that non-conference slate in particular to start off, what goes into making that schedule, and kind of what do you expect in the early going here?
The rotation starts with Northern Michigan, Parkside, and Michigan Tech. We've been kind of on a rotating schedule with those 3 schools, and the way it works is every other year we have 2 at home and then we have 2 on the road and so on. So we're on the road portion of that, where Northern Michigan comes here and we go to Parkside and Tech. So that gets us a little bit on the road heavy on that part. Then we went into an NSIC MIAA and GAC challenge where we're down in central Missouri. That allows us to get the opportunity to, instead of playing 26 regular season games, play 28 regular season games. To make the NCAA tournament, I think those are very worthwhile experiences. It gets you 2 extra games. Unfortunately, we're playing those on the road as well. So that adds up right there, and then our front half of the NSIC schedule has a little bit of road flavor in it as well. So when you add it all up, 8 of our first 12 are on the road, and they're all against basically perennial NCAA powers. The only team that in the non-conference is Northern Michigan, who is, Coach Saul is building an emerging program. I have no doubt that they're going to get in the NCAA tournament pretty soon. But he's just in his 2nd year there at Northern Michigan, so they're still building. But it's a really challenging schedule. But with the 6 seniors we have, with the experience that we feel that we have, it's something that I'm really hopeful that at the end of the year we look at this and say, hey, it's something that we really, really challenged ourselves with. We will be NCAA tournament ready. We're ready for the NSIC tournament. We're road tested. We're playing against really good teams. We know what we are right away. So we're hoping that works out. It was obviously very ambitious. Not only do we play 8 of our first 12 on the road, but we play 6 games in 10 days, which is another significant challenge of just, it's games and scouting and rest, games and scouting and rest. There's not going to be a whole lot of adjustments to be able to be made in that period. So we certainly hope that we get off on the right foot and don't have to make a lot of wholesale adjustments, because there won't be a whole lot of time to do so.
Sure. Last thing I'll probably touch on, the NSIC poll. Do you think that your fellow coaches gave this team a fair assessment? And kind of what do you think in terms of the whole NSIC standings or the rankings there? Do you think the right teams are picked up at the top there? Do you think those are going to be the leaders of the pack?
I've been in this league for quite a while, and I think we're picked pretty appropriate for where we finished and where we are. But to be quite honest with you, the entire polling process is useless. I don't know why we do it. I guess it's for the media. But I've been in this league for a long time in 2 different schools. I can tell you who the top 2 or 3 teams are, and after that, I couldn't tell you to save my life. And it's been that way every year. And if you talk to every coach in the league, they feel pretty much the same way. So it's just pretty much a guess after the top 2 or 3 teams. I think we would all agree that Augustana is the team to beat in the league. I think we'd all agree after the season that Moorhead had last year that they're very strong. And then after that, I think you're drawing out of a hat. And we were picked to finish 8th one year at Bemidji, and we won the league. I mean, there is no rhyme or reason. You don't know what teams have brought prominent recruits back, or who's eligible, or how things are going to shape up, how the team chemistry is. So I don't put a whole lot of stock into those votes or how everything works out. I just know that the team that's picked number one is probably rightfully, deservedly so, and we certainly have to beat some teams to get to that position, and we'll just take it one game at a time and see where we end up.
All right, well, that's all I got for you. Good luck this weekend. First couple stops here, and then we'll see you back at home next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you.